Hello and welcome back to Calradia 1403. I was literally just making my way back to Cherise because I thought to myself, okay, it's about time we go back there and try to capture it once again. And the funny thing is, Melodia. Yes, Melodia. What a terrible individual he is, because he has, well, I mean, to be fair, he's not actually that terrible, but I gotta say, where was he when we needed help? Where was he? And he wasn't anywhere to be seen, and now we're gonna have an issue. Yes, we're gonna have to go into the siege, and it's going to have to be, you know, a little bit more difficult. Yeah, it's going to be much more difficult, actually, than it was before, because as you can see, the food supplies have indeed been replenished. That's the funny thing. If the Rhodoks vassals had assisted me at the time, we only would have had 3 days worth of food for the enemy to deal with. That would have been fantastic. That would have been probably one of the best things ever, but unfortunately they did not do that. So now they're going to suffer huge amounts of siege bombardment casualties, and that's exactly also the reason why it is so hard to perform any significant siege in any lengthy sense, you know, as in you cannot actually do a siege in the standard way, the most efficient way, shall we say, without losing significant amounts of troops. That's the reason why I personally believe that it's a much better idea to starve out the opponent, which is what I was actually going to do, as you saw in the previous episode. I was literally just going to build siege towers, battering ram, then just starve out the garrison, and then maybe just go in from that, to be honest. Because we have too small an army to actually do much more. I mean, you could see here, look at what's happening right now. I started with 104 people, and we now have 102. And the reason why we have 102 is because of siege bombardment casualties. And I gotta say, I actually don't really agree with the whole siege bombardment casualties to begin with, because I find it's too random. That's one of the things that I am not a big fan of. What I would really love to see, obviously this is probably not ever going to happen, but let's just say that maybe it does at some point in the future. But what I would love to see happen is actually a, shall we say, designation, like an assignment for certain units to be the ones that will handle the siege equipment. Because then you will actually have a much easier time of, you know, kind of denoting who is going to die and who isn't. Because as I've, you know, said in the past, I mean, you know, obviously I haven't really gone into a huge amount of depth about the topic, but the fact is, I'm not going to rant about this for a huge amount of time, by the way. Just give me a minute, all right? Anyway, basically, it's all about this. The random element needs to be reduced in some way or another. Because, yeah, okay, fine. In a real situation, you never know what's going to happen. Maybe you're gonna, you know, lose a bunch of your highest tier troops. Maybe you're not. But the fact is, you can reduce the chances of that happening if you have the ability to assign certain units to that particular job. And that's the thing that I think would be really, really useful, like being able to, like I say, if someone is building a trebuchet, just have the ability to choose, okay, I want to put these recruits, you know, I want to put the recruits on, you know, building the trebuchet. And that's it. That is literally how simple it would be. I literally want to put the recruits on building the trebuchet, and as a result, I am then only going to be losing recruits in comparison to losing, you know, Rhodoks sharpshooters or Rhodoks sergeants or any of the higher tier units that take us a whole bunch of time to level up and upgrade and spend money on and so on. And so I personally believe that that would be a fantastic system. I think that would be really, really fun, actually, because it would just provide you with so much more control and everything. And yeah, I think that would be nice. But of course, Probably not going to happen, right? Probably not going to happen, but, you know, I think it would be nice anyway. So, we did get the battering ram actually to the front gate. Gotta say, kind of unusual. It's kind of unusual to get that happening because most of the time the enemy is very easily going to be able to destroy it, but apparently they didn't do a very good job this time around. Very, very surprised about that, and we're now going to get murdered by some thrown weapons potentially. Oh no! Oh, they're rushing us! Oh dear, they are rushing us. This is bad. Oh, this is bad news for me. Oh yes, I think I'm dead actually, friends. I think I am actually dead. This is not going to work, as you can clearly tell. Yeah, this is not going to work at all. I might be able to... Ah, there we go. Okay, I actually literally just phased through the wall. Okay, well, that was not my intention, of course, but... yeah, okay, that happens, okay? If you use the super speed mod, you already know that that is indeed a thing. And I would have died, most likely. So maybe I should just let myself be killed at this point. I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea. I'm not entirely sure if I really want to do that, because I would like to use my wonderful Burgundian axe. I find it a lot of fun to use the Burgundian axe. I think it's really enjoyable, actually, to use a weapon like this. I mean, you can see here how much damage it's capable of doing. I think I am going to die anyway. Yeah, I am going to die anyway, but that's okay. We got a little bit of extra fun there. And we weren't, you know, just trapped in the corner. Because, let's face it, that was actually a really cool maneuver that the Saranids used there. That was unexpected. I did not think that they were going to do that. And so as a result, they caught us unawares. And they made it so that we were trapped in the corner, and it was just absolutely undoable. We couldn't go anywhere. We had no freedom to leave or do anything else. But let's actually just see. Yeah, so I ended up losing 6 sharpshooters, which is pretty harsh, and 3 Rhodok sergeants, but in exchange we did gain 35 renown, 42 influence, which is, in my opinion, actually pretty nice. And we got some, well, as you can see right here, we got some relation, some charm skill, you know, stuff like that. Not really that important to me, to be honest. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. However, oh, look at that, we did actually level up, so I guess that's kind of nice. And we are also, look at this. Nice, we actually got some better horse armor for us. Now our horse actually has some leg protection. So that's really going to make a big difference. Oh yeah, oh I like that. Okay, that's actually really nice. I like that a great deal. Okay, so we can now go in here. They only have 63... only have 63,000, which is not really that much, because as you can quite clearly tell, I could literally just bankrupt them almost instantaneously by selling a couple of pieces of armor. And well, yeah, that's how it's gonna have to be, unfortunately. I would like to sell some food as well if I can. Yeah, let's sell some of this grain, because I've got way too much of it. As you can see, I still have 122 days, which is a little bit too much. But, you know, sometimes it's actually good to keep it, just in case you do go for those extended sieges and things like that. But in this case, I'm obviously not going to. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to get out of here, and I'm going to be making my way back to Praven. And along the way, I'm obviously going to try and recruit as many people as I can, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get a couple of them leveled up along the way. I highly doubt it, but you never know. Maybe I'll get a couple of auto-resolves and stuff like that. That might be quite fun. Let's see who is actually going to be on the docket here. No one. No one that we really care about. Okay, so I have 246 influence. I guess I'll just spend 60 or so. I don't really... As I say, it does not really matter to me about my charm skill or anything like that, but I guess if we can get it to a certain level, then it might come in handy at some point, maybe? It's been a while, he says. Yes, it has. It has been a while. Well, I actually just went over to Praven, and I took a look at what's going on there, and I'm actually going to be trying to institute a policy after this battle. This is going to be a bit of a harsh one. There are a lot of people here. This is literally 280 something troops, which I think might Oh dear, yes. Okay, so the environment is not looking particularly good for us. We may, in fact, be facing a defeat here, but you know what? There's no risk, no reward, right? No risk, no reward. So let's do this. Let's see what we could do. I'm not sure if this is gonna even... I don't know. It looks okay. I don't know. It looks okay. Maybe we'll be better than anticipated. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into this little ravine here with our infantry. And our archers are going to stand on one of the little hills next to it. And hopefully that is going to be good enough. I do have one cavalry person, which is probably not going to be particularly useful. And we'll see what we can do. Now, we do have a bunch of our crossbowmen firing away here. They are going to be completely and utterly useless, I think, for the most part. Maybe. I mean, it depends. Obviously, the enemy is going to come across the horizon, or, you know, this little area in front of us here, and they may, in fact, be just shot instantaneously, which is obviously the whole point. That's the hope, at least. Well, this is a... Wow, that's an absolute massacre. Okay, that is an absolute massacre. That's exactly what we wanted to see. That is perfect. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So let's put these guys into a shield wall formation now. That's what we need to do. We want to make sure that these guys are as defensive as they possibly can be. We need longevity more than anything. And I'm hopeful that we're going to be okay here. I mean, I think we will probably be fine because it is very much reliant. I mean, all these guys are literally just throwing rocks and stuff like that. And, well... As you know, if you do have a higher level army, as in, like, you know, tier 5s and so on and so forth, you're probably going to be okay in comparison to what the enemy has if they are just running around with a bunch of tier 3s, tier 2s and so on and so forth, but that doesn't mean that we are immune. You know, that doesn't mean we're immune to losing or anything like that. It just means that we are going to have a potentially slightly more difficult time if they have larger amounts of units, and indeed those units are higher level. I did check, and they have a lot of footmen, which I think are tier 2s, so we shouldn't really have too many issues with them. And as you can clearly see here, we do appear to be victorious, or at the very least we're making them retreat to a certain degree. Now that does mean that either they are getting reinforcements, or that we have already eliminated so much of a significant amount of them that they are just going to run away at this point. I think the music is actually coming in now. Yep. The retreat music. Yes, the retreat music. That is actually quite a funny little, you know, what is it? Determination whether you're actually going to be achieving victory through a retreat. And there it is. Yes, the enemies are fleeing. There we go. Alright, so we ended up losing 8 people, and, well, we lost 1 sharpshooter, 1 sergeant. I'll take it. I'll take it. I think that's a very, very good result, considering the fact that the enemy had so many troops. 45 renown for it, 54 influence as well. We're going to need that influence. That influence is going to be extremely, extremely important for us. I'm actually going to be taking these guys prisoner. Like I said before, we're going to be taking pretty much every single person that I can prisoner from this point on, just because we want to make sure that our faction has the overwhelming advantage in siege warfare and being able to dominate the map as much as we possibly can. So, let's see. We can get a Swadian. Yes. Okay, so this is the reason, by the way, and I think I mentioned this earlier in the series anyway, but this is the reason why I didn't really want to play with the Swadians, because of the way that Bannerlord works. Unless the mod creator wants to change it or anything like that, because you never know. You know, modding teams have different different thought processes on the Bannerlord systems and stuff like that, and that's absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with that. But this is the reason why I was a little bit dubious about it, because of the way that war mounts work. War mounts are a little bit It depends. Sometimes they're very, very easy to find, and other times they are extremely rare. And so I didn't really want to put it in the hands of fate and try to, you know, find some war mounts if they were very badly necessary. For example, in this case right here, obviously we just have one Swadian footman, but imagine if we had 50 of these guys. Right? 50 Swadian footmen. I'd need 50 war mounts, and then I'd have to level them up like that. And, well, you know what? As a science experiment, let's go and actually take a look at the nearby town, see how many war mounts are actually available there. I will level this guy up into a man-at-arms, and we'll see what happens, you know? We'll see what happens, because you never know. Maybe there are actually going to be significant supplies of war mounts in the town, and then my my worries will be for nothing, you know, and then everything's going to be great. Anyway, let's just see here. Am I losing anything? Nope, we're just going to take all of that, thank you. All right, so obviously I still have 100 troops, which is actually really, really nice, and we are here, of course. So yeah, we did get to 150 in riding skill as well. Let's go for mounted warrior, 5% increased melee damage, and let's now institute a policy, because obviously, as you might expect, I am still having a little bit of an issue with town loyalty. I am building yet another fairgrounds in Praven at the moment. I'm hopeful that it will be done soon, and well, the loyalty is still doing badly, just so you know. The loyalty is still doing badly, so I will try forgiveness of debts, but I highly doubt it. Yeah, as you can see, these guys will not allow it to work, which is absolutely terrible, I gotta say. That's absolutely terrible. The AI is so weird about this kind of stuff. I really don't understand it, to be honest. Because look at what's happening with this. Look at this. This is literally just a 0.5 loyalty increase and a 0.2 security decrease, and then clans lose 1 influence per day. I mean, that doesn't really matter, you know. 1 influence is really not much at all, when generally you're going to be gaining quite a lot just from having thieves, right? And security is really not that big a deal either. So let's try Tribune to the people. Okay, so Graveth is the only one. Okay, yeah, so we're going to spend a little bit of influence here just to get this. He's the only one opposing it, because obviously town taxes paid to the ruler are reduced by 5%, and we're gonna try to institute this. It is going to work. Okay, so that's nice. But this is far and away not what we wanted. Like, yeah, sure, okay, fine. 1 loyalty is great and everything, but I'm highly, highly thinking that Graveth is going to try, you know, to you know, eliminate that policy as fast as he possibly can. Because, I mean, let's face it, you know, it is hurting his bottom line, as it were. And no offense, but I think actually he's probably running around with a couple of million gold right now, right? He's probably running around with so much money that he doesn't even know what to do with, right? He doesn't even know what to do with it. So, yeah. Anyway, we're gonna spend 20 influence on declaring war here. I will be in support of it. As you can see, the Rhodoks are actually stronger than the Swadians right now, which is pretty good. And this also means that we're not going to be paying them any additional tribute. So that's nice. I like that. And so let's see what we could do here. So we're just going to sell this. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Look at that. Minus 71,000. I have no idea what it actually is that I'm selling here that is so incredibly expensive, but apparently I just bankrupted them within seconds. That is quite funny. Oh, and I actually just... Oh, whoops. I forgot I actually had vassals. Oh well, never mind. I just got a little bit of extra money there, I suppose. Let's just ignore that. Yes, let's just ignore that for a little bit of time. And yeah, so how's the weather there? How's the weather going? Ah, you see that bird over there? Oh, yes, it's... oh, the sky is a very strange color today. Interesting. Anyway, what happened just a few moments ago? Nothing, right? Yes, nothing. All right. Very good. Okay, so obviously, now that the Swadians have declared war against us, they are definitely going to try and capture Praven. So I am going to see... Ah, hello. Fennigan might be having a bit of an issue. I'm going to see if I can maybe help him if he needs it. No, it doesn't seem like he needs it. Alright, well, I am going to help him nevertheless. And this is actually going to be quite a fun change because the I don't know. The Swadians, it depends. If they have a bunch of cavalry, this is going to be really, really enjoyable because it's going to be kind of a nice change from the Sarranids because the Sarranids are not really running around with anything that can be construed as cavalry. You know, they do have a handful of them, but obviously if the Swadians know what's good for them, they're going to be, of course, just spamming man-at-arms and Swadian knights. But of course, as I said, the entire problem is the war mount population. Is there enough of a supply of war mounts? And that's what we're going to check when we get over to Praven in just a second. I'm just going to see how many war mounts are actually there. Of course, it depends, okay? I know this. You know, the economy is going to be, you know, it's going to be different in every single town. So it could very well be that the war mount, you know, war mount supply in one town is going to be much, much larger than in another. And so that's the reason why we're going to check a couple of towns, you know? We're just going to make sure that we're being thorough when it comes to the little experiment that we're going to have a look here. Or it's not really an experiment, but, you know, just information, right? You know, information is power, ha, you know, all that scary stuff right there. Anyway, the fact is, these guys don't seem to have too many cavalry, so we should have a pretty easy time of things here. And I can only hope that I will be able to bonk them on the head with my wonderful axe. And, well, it doesn't seem to actually be working out too well for me right now, so that's kind of a bit sad, but... oh well. What can you do, hey? What can you do? And we'll just charge our cavalry in straight away. And our crossbowmen are not really doing much. Oh, they're over here. Oh, that's weird. Alright, that's kind of strange. I'm not entirely sure why these guys would be waiting over here. And they're waiting in this little dip as well. Very strange. I guess I am just going to run into... oh dear. Yes. There we go. Nice little bonk on the head there. That's good. Yeah, if we can do a little bit more like that, then I'll be very, very pleased. We can go through these guys. Whoa, this guy's using Nord footman, Swadian militia. He also was using a Rhodoks as well. Yeah, he's recruited a wide variety of different people by the looks of things. My horse is about to die, so let's get out of here. And you know what? Should I just be hyper-aggressive? Let's be hyper-aggressive here. I'm just going to charge everyone that I can. And maybe I can eliminate this guy if I am lucky, because this is indeed a Swadian knight. Yeah, nope. Not lucky. Okay. Well, that's fine. That is to be expected. He is basically a tank, you know. He's wearing some of the best armor in the game, I assume. Something like that. And I'm going to be interested to see whether our sergeants can handle him easily enough. I mean, I'm pretty sure they can, but it's going to be interesting. Oh, his shield's already been destroyed. Okay, well, that's a pretty big deal. That means that he doesn't have a huge amount of defense. Unless, obviously, I'm just, you know, doing that much damage, which I don't know, I wouldn't put it past us right now. We do have some pretty decent damage with this amazing polearm. You know, it's very, very enjoyable to use here, and it's just so much fun. Actually, it is so much fun to use this. Unfortunately, my horse is dead from an 82 damage hit. Wow. Okay, but now we can just do some damage here, and you know what? Athletic skill is not my forte, so this is not going to be exceptionally enjoyable running around like this, but. We are... I mean, okay, look. We're wearing very heavy armor. You know, in a real situation, it's probably going to be pretty difficult to run in this kind of stuff, so... yeah. Anyway, there's the retreat music coming in. I'm just going to speed it up, because we're going to get retreat in just a moment. There it is. Yep. Very nice indeed. Okay, so we did end up losing one person. One person only? Really? Okay. 17 renown right there, 25 influence, and I will be taking prisoner. I'm not a big fan of this guy. He always tends to have a terrible personality, so there you go. And we also got the Swadian Knight, very nice, and a couple of sharpshooters and things like that for us to sell. And I will remember this time, yes, don't worry, I will remember this time to actually do a proper, proper exchange with the prisoners. So we will be placing them in the dungeon. So let's go over to Veluca. We'll take a look at the war horses as well while we're at it. I think that makes the most sense, don't you think? Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. And then we'll make our way over to Praven and we'll compare, because obviously the two they technically have different cultures and things like that, but these are both towns with, shall we say, limited supply in general when it comes to horses. So I'm not expecting anything amazing from it, but we'll see. Anyway, there we go. Donate that guy, 2,600 from that. I think I should personally get roguery skill for donating vassals to the dungeon. I think I should get roguery skill for that, but apparently the game does not agree, so, you know, there it is. Anyway, we will... wow, we're getting a lot. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's actually have a look. Okay, no. Look at this, War mounts are really, really easy to get nowadays. Yeah. War mounts are really, really easy to get. And so there you go. My worries are completely unfounded. And you could just go for it. You know, you could just play any faction you want. And I think that's absolutely fantastic, because it used to be the case, and this was a while ago, so that's probably the reason why I am still in the mindset that, you know, war mounts are rare. But it used to be the case that war mounts were really, really hard to get, and as a result, you know, you would never really have enough of them to level up a significant amount of very high tier cavalry. And, well, I think the developers of Bannerlord actually changed it so that there were 3 different tiers of horse, and I think that's the reason why we now have a significant amount of war horses instead of a lack of them. You know what I mean? Because look at what we have right here. I mean, okay, fine. We have, yeah, look, yeah, see, yeah, we actually do have some. Look at that. That's crazy. Look at the amount we've got. We have 102 Valenby coursers, and they're only 1,300. That is not that expensive if you think about the fact that I have 1.6 million gold right now, and, well, you know, at this point, obviously, if you're leveling up a huge amount of footmen or anything like that, you're probably going to be fine in regards to your economy. So, very cool. I like it. Great. Yeah, that obviously just puts paid to my entire, you know, my entire worry about that, and that was the reason why I wasn't really putting too much stock in playing Swadia, but it actually is going to work. So it's going to work pretty nicely in actual fact. So by all means, you should definitely go for it if you want to. I think that sounds like a fun idea. Anyway, Praven is looking pretty nice right now, as you could see. The prosperity is going up by a dramatic amount, and I'm just relaxing. Yeah, I'm just relaxing right now. But not for long, because next time I'm actually going to be attempting to take Uxkhal and maybe Verexand Castle and try to expand our territory even more. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.